Well, greeting once again, everyone. Welcome back to the Base Blaster Audio Tech YouTube channel. Dan, in this video, we have something mobile related. Now, this will be a quick little how-to video. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I'm trying to do. This is the head unit from my truck. It is a Pioneer NVH-501BS. My issue is, when going back and forth to work and wherever else I go, I often have the key. I go from run straight to accessory. Now, when you do this, that little off, there's enough time for this to shut off. Okay, no problem. The issue is, well, the 501BS has some pretty BS Bluetooth in it. Then it takes forever to pair. And because it's a new head unit, it has to, fade in, fade out, and boot up a little bit. So when you flip the key over, the screen fades out, and it sits dead for about 2 seconds. And the screen fades in, flashes Pioneer, and then takes about 15 seconds for the Bluetooth to repair to my phone. So in this video, I've done a little bit of research, and this is what I'm doing. I'm simply adding a capacitor to the remote wire, or the ignition, just to keep it on for just 2 seconds. Now, I've already done the fun part of dismantling my harness, which I've soldered and heat shrink. What I did was I put a 47 microfarad capacitor, can't really see it, across our remote and ground. I was already out there and tested it. 47 microfarad was not enough. So I went out there with a 1000 microfarad, and it kept it on for about 1 second, which is just enough to go from run to accessory. That's all I want. It stayed on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the 47. We're going to stick on our 1000, and then we're going to reassemble our harness and tidy it up a bit. Oh, and I also need to reattach the quick connect terminal to the remote inside the vehicle because I didn't crimp it tight enough and it came off. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our iron, we're going to remove our 47 mic cap. It's going to be a little difficult. Nope, made a fool out of me. Alright, there's our 47 mic. I'll keep that. It's still a perfectly good capacitor. Right, and this is where I need to think. I'm going to have this capacitor wrapped and heat shrunk with everything else. So I need to have the leads going the same way that the ground wire I added on will go. Let's see, this here, this is our main ground, and this is the one I added for the capacitor. It doesn't look really neat, but oh well, it'll work. I have one of these eBay heat shrink kits, right? So we'll attempt to do this. That was easier than I thought it would have been. What size shrink do I want? I think some 3.5 mil or I think 2.5 mil will work. Yeah, I think 2.5 mil is good. Alright. Now we need to figure out how I'm going to run this. So I'm going to stick our grounds out of the way. Alrighty, you. So I have enough wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this end off of the Pioneer wire and re-strip it. This Metro harness has got some heavy wire, so it's also rather difficult to try to work with. Let's throw that away. Right. So how I'm going to do this, I'm just simply going to wrap it around. That I'm going to try to squish it down to make sure my heat shrink fits over it, because I always tend to use heat shrink that is one size too small, as I have done here. Alright, we'll just go up to the 3.5. It's all good, it's all good. Then stick it on here, wrap it a bit. Sure. Heat shrink fits over it perfectly, alright. Try to smoosh it down a little. And then solder it. When you get done dropping your roll of solder on the floor, that is. Now we're going to get our capacitor positive lead. Make sure you don't get this mixed up. And try to keep it in the shot a little. Then we're going to wrap it around this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just a little maybe, I don't know, this is about a centimeter of positive wire off. Then I'm going to use my tweezers to bend it just so it's a little easier to mold around. I'd recommend using 105 degrees C caps because it gets so hot in a vehicle dashboard. These are just Nigicon VRs. 85 degrees C, I don't think it gets that hot inside of a dashboard, although it might. But I just hope over time this cap is reliable and doesn't begin to bulge or go leaky or do anything funny like that. So pretty much we're going to wrap our positive lead of this cap around our remote wire. I'm also realizing that now that I cut it, I've done it wrong because I need my heat shrink to go up the wire. Way to go me. Okay. Same thing here, we're going to solder that lead on. Okay, we're going to wait on this to cool down. I'm going to run my heat shrink over it. Because if I try to run my heat shrink over it while it's still hot, the heat shrink will shrink before I can get it on there. I've done that once. Check out how we got the heat shrink ran up the wire, so none of that capacitor's lead is hanging out. I'll probably do the same thing with the negative side when I run its little wire to it as well. Now we're going to shrink our heat shrink. Good old heat gun. That is done. Get that out of the way. Now I need to figure out how to do the ground so I can wrap this all in Tessa tape and keep it looking nice. Tessa tape, way too wide. I definitely overpaid for that. Now my ground is soldered. However, I just tacked this wire on, so I'm going to add a little more solder just so this is more secure. Get this out of the way before I knock it on the floor. Now see, my vehicle is a second gen Dodge, so your ground is separate. It's not in your main harness, so you have to, ouch, that's hot. You got to connect a one of these quick connects. Okay, now I just need to get this little ground wire looped across and attached to our capacitor. Wow, this is difficult trying to wrap this wire around this lead. Holy shit. Now we'll shrink it down again. Now I need to figure out how to moosh this all together so I can start to wrap it. I left a lot of wire on the Pioneer's battery lead. I don't know why I did that. It's just making this more difficult. When I first done this harness months ago, I wrapped the entire thing in tape. Well, fast forward to today, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to wrap the really loose areas in tape. Try to bunch it together. Tape our cap in as well. I'll probably also tape the ground wire a little just so it's not yanking on the lead of the cap. Okay, I'm gonna add a little piece here in the ground just to make it a little neater. Yeah. I need to get a couple rolls of the thin tape, you know, this stuff that's like half this width. Alright, I think this finishes our harness. You know what, just because I'm going to add just another piece of tape in this little middle bit here. And then we'll take it out to the truck and see how it works. Alright, here's our harness. And grab our terminal that I need to recrimp. And we're going to take it out the truck and see how it works. Here we go. You'll have to ignore the handheld recording, and the pretty crappy lighting. But here it is installed. This is what I do. I usually go from run and then straight to accessory, and that's when it shuts off. However, with that cap in it, we're going to flip it to run. Pioneer. But normally it'd pair to my phone, but I have that shut off right now. Now, if I flip it straight to accessory, it stays on. There's just enough charge in that cap. It'll stay on. However, if we go from accessory straight to run, I don't think there's enough. Nope, that kills it. How long the thing takes to boot back up. Let's go back to accessory. There we go. Another finished project. Neato.